and I was helping you or walking through some insurance stuff when it came to the Kulshan Land Trust, and because I didn't even know it existed or what it was that the Kulshan Land Trust was doing until I got involved. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So could you guys share with me a little bit about the mission and the value of values of Kulshan Land Trust?
Sure. Well, thanks for having us here. I'm so pleased to have Sarah with me here too. Sarah's our board president. I'm executive director, and I've been on the job for about 6 months. And Sarah's been a great thought leader and been a true leader for our organization in a lot of ways. And so just wanted to get that out there. And so Kulshan Community Land Trust, we help to create affordable home ownership opportunities for folks within our community. The way that model works is by we purchase a land with a home on it. We then sell the home, but retain the ownership of the land. And then there's a covenant or a ground lease on that land. And in order for us to maintain the affordability over time, our homeowners have a limited equity that they get to gain over time. So the way that works is versus a regular market home where you would buy and then you would sell whatever the market is available at that time. So you gain that equity that you've while you've owned that home. Our homeowners only are able to get 1.5% equity year over year. And that allows them to both have the stability of a home, to be able to gain their mortgage payments every month instead of it going rent to a landlord, and then they get that 1.5% equity over time. Okay. So it's a great program. We've got 142 homes in our trust right now, and we're growing that every day right now. And yeah, we've been able to serve 238 families so far. So awesome. There are times when folks move out, and it's a goal of Kulshan is that we have homeowners that eventually that stability and that being able to have a home is giving them that leg up so that they're able to eventually move into a market rate home, and then we get to sell that same home to another low-income qualified buyer.
So how long has Kulshan Land Trust, Kulshan Community, is it Kulshan Community Land Trust?
Yes.
Now, how long has Kulshan Community Land Trust been around?
We celebrated our 25th anniversary last year, so
wow.
We're in our 26th year.
That's awesome. That's crazy that I have never heard of it until this year. I must live under a rock. Maybe everyone else will be like, how did you not hear? But I mean, it's a cool concept. I did just a little bit like what you mentioned there about giving people housing stability. And I was just thinking through it as I was getting ready for our meeting today. And I was like, well, part of it makes sense. Like you said, like you're limiting the growth 1.5% of equity that you're growing. But when I think about equity, you're building equity though, like you said, when you're paying your mortgage, right? Because you're paying part of your principal every month. So when you go to sell the house, it only grew 1.5% is it per year?
Yep.
So it only grew 1.5% per year, but I also grew money. I'm getting some of my mortgage back, right? So instead of just paying it to the landlord, that it goes into his pocket, which it's fine. It's a model. But I think about that. Like I bought my office my office building 8 years ago. And before that, I was renting an office in the Fairway Center here in Linden for 10 years. And my rent was, I think, $2,500 or $2,000 a month. So it was like $24,000 a year. So over the course of 10 years, that's $240,000 I paid in rent. And when I left, my landlord was super nice and gracious, but he didn't give me anything back.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think the other piece of it is that often our homes, the mortgage rates for our clients are under market rents. And so that's one of the benefits of the homes that are in trust are kind of frozen at the value when they're purchased. So when you see big leaps in market values like we have in the last 10 years, our homes are reselling at like $280,000, $80,000.
Yeah.
And these are homes in, very, very centralized Bellingham neighborhoods. So that is the other benefit. And as you can imagine, when you're renting, you have the instability of not knowing when rents are going to go up.
Right.
And not knowing if you're going to be able to stay in a certain location for an extended period of time. And the stability that you get with owning a home and knowing that your mortgage payment is going to be fixed, and knowing that your kids are going to be able to stay in the same school district for as long as you choose to stay in that home. These are really kind of more of the intangible things that come with Kulshan homeownership that, are a benefit over renting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was looking, and these people might jump on me for statistics because do all these numbers add up? I was trying to figure it out. But they said for people who grow up in a family that owns their own home, they're 19% more likely to go to college. If they're 11% more likely to graduate high school. So I'm assuming that the 19% is assuming over the people who graduate, 19% more likely if you come from a family that owns their own home versus a renting family to go to college, and 4.5% more likely to complete a degree. So it does make a difference. And then socially, like for kids that are unhoused or homeless or struggling with housing, there's 65% of them are arrested as teenagers. So it definitely has a huge impact in their social and economics and their opportunities moving forward. That generation, it changes when you have a family that goes into home ownership. It ends a generational cycle of poverty. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I wouldn't have thought that would make such a big difference. But just owning a home for your family, probably to your point, right? Like you're not moving all the time. So you're not changing school districts and having that upheaval. You're not losing friend groups. You have more stability inside of your home and inside of your community as a whole. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the sense of ownership too, that you get, children and adults with owning a home, it gives that level of that feeling of permanence where, for kids, I can put all this energy into decorating my room and like turning it into my space when you know that it's,
when it's
your
yours.
space.
Yeah. It's not like, hey, this is we have to ask the landlord if we can repaint, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not in that.